Oh, what drew me to theatre? I was a very disruptive student at school. I spent most of my schooling life outside the classroom because the teachers couldn't bear to have me inside the classroom because I was forever distracted and wanting to make the kids in the class laugh. And it was due to a particular teacher, Brother Peter Hume, who said to my parents at a parent-teacher night, he said, look, I have the class in the palm of my hands, and then your son will say or do something, and then he said, I can't control them. And that brother said to my parents, have you ever thought of sending your son to acting classes? I was 12. My parents didn't have much money. Next Saturday I was off to acting classes. He saw the potential to use what I had constructively. That's what I've used it for ever since. And I'm very, very thankful to a teacher who could identify that and then articulate it to my parents and then give me the opportunity to become who I am.